Hello, everyone. I hope you're doing well. Beautiful day and beautiful weather here. Lots of energies shifting on this Sunday. So today, I wanted to talk about anger is a part of Ascension. And this may throw some people a curveball because most of our spirituality, a lot of the guru type people are basically saying Ascension is just like the rapture. It's just you kind of pop out of being human in 3D and transcend into something that's better and full of bliss and other things. So let's examine the truth of that. I hear lots of people talk about it, especially people on Facebook and stuff, and they say, oh, I'm in such bliss today and blah blah blah, and then next week they're surfing the same shit and complaining about the same stuff, and it was just a little bubble. How many people do you know that just popped off the face of the earth or are fully ascended? There's some pretty chill people out there that I feel are close to ascended, but there's a very small handful. Now let's look back in our past. People that we feel ascended. Jesus, for example. He ascended from the dead and he was crucified on the cross. Now, look at the journey of Jesus, for example. Look at the journey of any of the ascended masters. Some of them could say people like Saint Germain or a lot of these, what does the Catholic Church call them? Saints, I guess is the word, that are ascended masters. Or angels or archangels or all these kind of things. There's a difference between an angel, which is an angelic or ascended being and has always been or working them in between, and then there's ascended masters. Look at what is it, like Siddhartha and all the Indian masters. They go sat in a cave for their whole lifetime. Or you look at Zen Buddhists that are looking to transcend the 3D experience, so they just sit in meditation all the time. They basically, it's one of the few that I've heard that kind of bypasses the process by not participating in the world. They just sit in a monastery. Or some of these Buddhas and others, they went and sat in a cave for 10 or 15 years and just transcended all their 3D experience. So now start to compare your experience. So if you're listening to this, more than likely you're on an ascending path and you're here to transcend 3D experience and be love and move above and go from being in a human body and learning lessons and now moving into an ascended person and ascending with the world. The world is becoming too dense, and there's a lot of natural things that are against us right now that is going to make the earth a very trying place to be a part of here very soon. So now you're ascending. Now look at all the struggles and problems you've been having, the traumas you've had in your life, and if you listen to some of my other videos, those are the things that helped you ascend. They helped you learn from your experience. So we come here in this 3D density in the human body and have a human experience, getting programmed, getting taught from all the life things, and all of a sudden we go on a path of ascension. We're starting to deal with all of our shit. We're dealing with our parent stuff. We're dealing with epigenetic lineage traumas, things that are been fed down, and you're healing all these traumas for our collective. So we're now a part of this awakening process of the whole planet, and we're cleaning up things. There's a whole bunch of masculine and feminine shit and patriarchy shit, and some of us feel insane as we're ascending that we're dealing with shit that's just dementedly crazy and whatever. But think, we've had tens of thousands of years of human, probably even more than that, of human existence where we created a lot of density. If we're part of God, we're having to clean up a lot of stuff. It doesn't make it our personal human responsibility, but if we don't take some responsibility for the density of what's going on and choose better, how can the density change? So we're now in this task as a being that's ascending to clean up shit. So at the start of my live, or the title, it says anger is part of Ascension. It is, because we're going to have to deal with every little bit of our human experience, anything that we're holding on to, angry about, frustrated about, etc., any unresolved emotions, etc., will have to be looked at. And that makes the process very uncomfortable. Some people would say it's frustrating, it hurts you, it whatever, but the ascension process is not about just love and light and bliss and pretending none of it ever happened. No, it's about proceeding through it, letting the energy pass through you of all the old past traumas, the old past beliefs, the old collective shit that we came here and agreed to deal with. And I'm telling you right now, you're not a victim of this, you chose it. And it's makes us angry. We're gonna feel angry. We're gonna cry and scream and fight against it. That's what struggle is in this human experience. Just accept that things have happened. Things that didn't work out. People got hurt. Children are being assaulted. People are being raped. All these things. We can't fix all of it, but we're part of it. So to say it doesn't exist or it's bad or it's ugly or whatever just puts us in a resistance to everything that's going on. Ascension is an acceptance of what is. So we created all this. Yeah, you maybe didn't do it in this lifetime, but 10 to 1 you did it in another lifetime. So we just start taking some self-responsibility, saying this is a facet of me, this is an unresolved child, this is a child that's angry or whatever. And all those energies inside, once we start saying, they're mine, they exist, they're real, I feel them, start crying them, start being angry about them, whatever, and you're going to go through a process of acceptance, of healing, and of releasing. You have to go through anger to climb up the ladder to bliss. I'm guaranteeing it. And there's a lot of other really nasty emotions that we're mastering. Why do we call the people that have ascended in the past, the Saint Germains, the Jesuses, etc., as ascended masters? Guess what? There's the tricky part. You have to master yourself. You have to master your emotions. You have to master your body. I'm not saying controlling, and I'm not saying forcing things or whatever. I'm saying become aware of all those things that are there. Let them exist. Don't fight them. Start to become part of them. We are dark and light no matter what we want to think. We are 50% dark and we are 50% light. And if we're not in the middle, we're either way too on one side or way too on the other side, and that's the human experience. Once you can find out that your dark side is sometimes your power, your anger, your frustration, your fear, etc., these are all stages of light and dark. So if we start to take responsibility, self-responsibility, and start to master our anger, our triggers, our frustration, our rage, our whatever, power is going to come back to us. And we're going to start to find out that being a really strong and powerful person has the ability to be a warrior and incinerate a person in an instant, and you've lived that life. It also has the possibility of being the most loving nun, priest, whatever you want to be, that's completely love and never would hurt a being. But if you can't find the middle, you're stuck in one polarity or the other. So mastery says, yes, I have that power to do that, but I'm not going to do that. I have the ability to use the energy of that, and magic can happen because now we're a full being. If we cut off half of ourselves, do you think we can ascend? If we cut off half of ourselves, do you think we're really balanced? No, that's what the ascension journey is waking up to truth, waking up to that we have to be balanced, that we have a dark side and a light side, and humanity has a dark side and a light side, and we got to look at all of it, accept it, and choose better. Doesn't mean we have to live with that shit happening in our world and we're going to be angry about it. We're going to save the children and all that kind of stuff. But to accept that it is true and to accept that this was created by some facet of God and humanity gives you power over it. You can then start to choose better. You can start to send that light into the situation and heal the parts of the darkness that are creating that, because they're all part of us. So to think that we're just going to blip and ascend and everything's going to be good without some emotion, without some discomfort, without some pieces is almost insane, because that's the human experience. I'm not saying it's bad, and there is a point when you're going to feel bliss and you're going to feel happy and everything's going to be great and everything's going to be in balance. But you're going to have to warble a little bit on either side of the line to find out what's good. And then you're going to, well, good for you. I'm not saying there's any judgment, but once you know what feels good for you in your heart, the choices that you make, etc., and you can choose them and not be a victim anymore, all of a sudden you're in balance. And then you're going to get your creator powers back and the energy of your gifts, etc. And your manifestations are going to come out clear, and then things are going to happen the way you're hoping for. They're not twisted by our past or our unworthiness or unease or whatever. This is the path of ascension, is to clarify and clean all these things up, be good with all facets of yourself, and then stand in your power. And once you're in your power, guess what? Anything's possible. And that's what we're all moving through. You don't get all your power back, your abilities, etc., until you can show that you're safe to handle them. Because if you had creator abilities and you want to incinerate somebody because they cut you off in traffic, guess what? They're not going to give you that, because that's out of control. But they know they're giving it back. Our guides, it's all planned in stages, and that's why all the tests happen. That's why it feels like hell. That's why it feels over and over and over and over again. I still have trouble with people with traffic. I still have trouble with banks and other things. As we step through this, we get better and better with it. We accept that they're all part of the experience, and they're doing what they plan to do, and that it's in your life is giving you a lesson, and so you can step through it, rise above it, and get better. So ascension is not just love and light. And if you think you can get away by pretending that things didn't happen or pretending the anger inside isn't there, it's going to show up. Trust me. They know. There's no hiding anything from yourself. So I love you all. Hopefully this resonates. And thank you for the comment, Kathy. You all have a great night. Love you. Talk to you soon.